Hey guys, Manny back here with another video on the CascadeScents fragrance station. And I know this is super early because it's not exactly winter 2016-2017 yet, but I figured that would be cool to let you guys know what I'm reaching for this season right away anyway because it's already getting cold. But just a disclaimer for you professionals out there, what I don't have on here are bona fide winter office scents. The reason I don't have anything like that is because I personally don't work in an office, but even if I did, I would actually still rock summery, clean, citrusy, safe scents, despite the coldness outside. Because once you step into that office, it's going to be the same temperature anyway typically, and the same rules would apply as far as a near unscented environment. But with that out of the way, let's finally get to my number 10. Here it is, it's Noir de Noir by Tom Ford. Now in the olfactories of some people will describe Noir de Noir by Tom Ford as a romantic cold weather favorite. So with that being said, why is it the lowest ranked fragrance on this list? Like, it still has that same androgynous sexiness with the rose, the patchouli, the truffle, kind of comes off as equal parts vanilla, rose, and dark chocolate, believe it or not. But despite what would be taken as typically a heavy composition, it's actually kind of light now. Like, out of the deeper private blends I own, this one seems to be the most neutered. So what used to be an all-day kind of fragrance isn't anymore, and its projection is near skin scent territory now, at least for me. But that's actually fine because this is something you'd want to reserve for you and your partner, I would say. I think it evokes that kind of intimate sexiness, and I guess that's why it's still on this list at number 10. Now moving on to my number 9, this one was ranked up there with the best of them in my last list. Here it is, it's Thierry Mugler's Amen Pure Havane. If I could describe this scent in one sentence, it's kind of like the Amen base with tobacco vanille minus the fruits and minus the spices. So incredibly smooth vanilla tobacco here with some honey in the opening as well. Makes for an incredibly versatile type scent, and it's very, very compliment heavy, at least in my experience. So when you consider all of that, plus it performs and it's inexpensive, like, why is it so low on this list? And to be honest, there's not really a technical reason to why it's so low on this list. It's just, right now, I kind of want to reach for other stuff this winter. I was just using this juice a lot in the fall, and I don't know, I just think it's time for a change. Again, number 9, Pure Havane by Thierry Mugler. More often than not, in previous years, this would have been ranked a little higher. Now moving on to number 8, we have one from the house of BYREDO. Here it is, it's Oud Immortel. Now, ouds are typically great for the winter because they typically last and stuff, and this specific oud comes off as specifically playful and casually, which I really like for this winter season because a lot of these are way too rugged, and that playfulness here comes from that limoncello note, which is super delicious. Like, I want to drink that opening note. But sadly, all good things come to an end, and here it's too soon and only lasts for like 4 to 5 minutes, to be honest. Then it's full-blown stanky oud, which is going to last whatever the conditions out there in this winter, which I kind of need, which is great. But again, I'm still mad at the fact that the best part of this fragrance does not last too long. And that's why Oud Immortel is only number 8, again from the house of BYREDO. Next up, we have number 7, and this one is like breakfast in a bottle. Here it is, it's New Haarlem by Bond number 9. This stuff for me is like a dedicated morning/daytime casual scent. Again, that's mainly because it smells like breakfast. You got coffee in here, vanilla, overall just comes off super syrupy. Also a crowd pleaser too, it definitely has a universal sweetness that a lot of people can identify with. But for me, the ingredients also don't warrant the asking price of this fragrance. So maybe if this stuff was $100 cheaper, I'd probably put it higher on this list because really, with the compliment factor and the longevity, there isn't a lot to complain about here. So that's why it's only number 7, Bond number 9's New Haarlem. Now moving on, we have the pound for pound weirdest fragrance on this list. Here it is, it's Black number 1 by House of Matriarch. I'm not saying the word weird as if that's supposed to be disparaging, it's just I can't think of anything else that smells like it. It's actually incredibly natural smelling and rather pleasant if you ask me. So it's kind of like equal parts leathery, woody, and foresty, which I definitely appreciate. I'd say overall there's like a rock star, dark, mysterious, sexy edge about it, so if you're trying to figure out if this would be for you or not, I'd say it kind of falls into that stereotype. But even if you don't fall into that, I'd still say it's worth a sniff if you are into alternative takes on oud or leather. Good enough performance for me as well. I definitely want to get some wares out of this come future nights out this winter. Again, that's Black number 1 by House of Matriarchs, and shout outs to FragranceView for introducing me to this. Now we're moving on to number 5. This one is primarily a leather fragrance, a very casual take on leather. It's Golden Boy by Dueto Parfums. Personally, I think Golden Boy is sick, because when I'm looking for a fragrance that's primarily leather, I want one that is primarily casual. I feel like I'd get that kind of vibe out of Golden Boy. Like, it honestly smells like a closet full of leather jackets, and I think that's really cool. Definitely one that I'd rock when I'm out with the guys for like pub night or something like that. Also, I do love its valuation because I think the ingredients are up to par and this stuff really lasts and projects, so there's not a lot to complain about here. And that's why it's number 5. Again, Golden Boy by Dueto Parfums. Oh yeah, and shout out to Fragrance Apprentice for introducing me to this brand. Now moving on to number 4, I would definitely say that this fragrance has kind of a cult following around it, but I think it deserves it. Here it is, it's Jubilation XXV Man by Amouage. Probably the best frankincense fragrance I've ever smelled, and when you consider the fact that it has that honey and that blackberry opening, it's just so yummy, yet so resinous, yet so luxurious smelling all together at the same time. It's really that great. Also, I love how they marketed this fragrance. It was to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the company Amouage. So Jubilation's a perfect name for it, and the scent again is rather celebratory. So I love to rock this for New Year's Eve and upcoming Christmas parties that I haven't attended yet. I just think it's a really sensible fragrance for those kind of occasions. Also to note, this is the magnetic cap reformulation, and this one is also a UK bottle. But the scent is up to par for me as well as the performance, so I really don't have a lot to complain about here. Like, this is simply good enough for me. Again, that's Jubilation XXV Man by the House of Amouage. Now moving on to number 3, I used to think that this scent was a little much as far as projection and longevity, but now I can't complain because we're probably getting a really rugged winter this time around. Here it is, it's Dior Homme Parfum by Christian Dior. Again, performance unparalleled here, at least 12 hours of longevity, and we're talking way more than an arm's length as far as projection. It will definitely fill up the room, at least in my experience. You have that lipsticky iris that's kind of subdued by the leatheriness of this fragrance. If I had a signature on this list as of late, it's probably this one. And I think it has a decent valuation for its ingredients and its performance. So again, that's number 3, Dior Homme Parfum by Christian Dior. Now moving on to number 2, definitely a classic from the house of Tom Ford. You guessed it, it's Tobacco Vanille. Besides Italian Cypress, I can honestly say that this is my favorite Tom Ford private blend. I personally initially thought that the tobacco was kind of rough in this, and now I actually perceive this to be really well blended with the fruits and the spices, as well as the vanilla, of course. Dries down into something sweet, some would say super sweet. Definitely signature scent quality if you ask me. I don't think this is as formal as a lot of people say it is. You know, because that's how it's marketed, of course. So yeah, I like using this as a jack of all trades scent during the winter. That's just me. Also to note, I don't think the reformulation has been as harsh for this one as it was in Noir. I'd say that the performance overall is still more than adequate for me. So with that being considered, along with how much I love the scent and its versatility, that's why it's as high as number 2 on this list. Now moving on to my number 1 scent for this winter, I definitely think that I saved the best for last year. Here they are, yes, it's a pair of them. I got Guerlain's Angélique Noire and Cuir Beluga from L'Art et la Matière line. Now before I continue with these, I want to say first and foremost, shoutouts to BetawiBlood and You Smells Good to introducing me to this line. It's probably my favorite exclusive line in all of perfumery now. I know I've sung praises about this line already, I just think they do vanilla better than anyone in the game right now. I guess I'll start off with this one right here. I might have to say that Angélique Noire might be the best vanilla fragrance of all time. For me, the blend is just perfect. You got that Angelica seeds in the opening as well as some fruitiness, and I'd say it all transitions really smoothly into the Angelica root in the base with the vanilla. Overall, it's a very dry take on vanilla, which I think is really interesting, and it actually performs rather well too. Definitely a man among boys if you ask me, as far as standing amongst these other great scents on this list as far as performance goes. Overall, I wouldn't say it's a compliment getter though, but you'll definitely get noticed wearing this one. But yeah, again, really interesting with that dryness. Definitely super musky and powdery. Just comes off as a very luxurious, airy vanilla scent, and again, it's just the best. Can't forget about my other number 1 though in Cuir Beluga. While Angélique Noire is a big dry vanilla, this one is definitely subdued and smooth along with that suede note. So yeah, don't let the name fool you. In Cuir Beluga, you might think that it is a harsh, leathery kind of scent, but no, it's a smooth suede vanilla. What else is there to say? You got some herbal notes in there as well as some soft florals. So if this conjures up anything in my head, I'd say coziness. Like if I want to smell my best for the company I'm with and I don't want to really shout but kind of just pleasantly be around them, this is probably what I'd wear. Now I think that Angélique Noire is the best vanilla as far as its attitude and its creativity and its performance. I'd say that Cuir Beluga is the best vanilla as far as coziness and just smoothness overall. So again, these are my number 1s from Guerlain's L'Art et la Matière line, Angélique Noire and Cuir Beluga. So there it is guys, that about does it for my top 10 winter 2016 to 2017 fragrances. If you guys enjoyed the list, please leave me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't yet to support more great fragrance content like this. Again, tell me what you think of my list as well as give me your own list in the comments, I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, that's it, so take care, peace out, bye.